start again and pick myself back up. I gave up everything, it never was enough.
What is up, everyone? Anime and Radio here with another Geeks 5 Ever podcast. Today we're going to be doing a recap of San Japan. Today on the first time we got our new co-host with me, Matrix. He's one of our new co-hosts and the newest members of Geeks 5 Ever. He's also handling our actual website. We actually have a website up. Yay! I wish I had one of those sound buttons where the fake audience would clap during the sitcoms. So, Matrix, say hi to the people, man.
Hey everybody, pleasure to be here. I'm honored to be a part of this team. If anybody has any suggestions for the site, let us know. We'll put it up there. See how it goes.
Are we really a team, or are we just a bunch of grown men climbing trees and throwing coconuts at each other?
I think the latter.
Okay. Also, for the first time on our podcast, a very special guest, TENZAROMON. He has his own Facebook page, his own website, and his own YouTube channel, which we'll be posting links below. Mr. TENZAROMON, please introduce yourself to the folks.
Hey there, everyone. It's TENZAROMON here. I'm a cosplayer, gamer, rhythm game nerd. I go to all the DDR tournaments around, so you'll see me at a lot of the conventions taking part in that and starting to get back in the cosplay scene. Just looking forward to being on the podcast every now and then as well, and look forward to meeting all of you at a convention when the time comes up.
Before we continue, I'm going to apologize to everyone in advance if we don't all sound as energetic or if we all sound half dead. Half of us are sick. We got sick. San Japan was not even a week ago, and I thought it was allergies, but apparently there's some kind of sickness going around. And always with us, it's pretty much her show now. She's always with us, is Saki Kitty.
Hey, y'all already know me. I'm a cosplayer in Houston, so if you want to check it out, just type in Saki Kitty and you see all the boob pics.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna allow you to introduce yourself anymore at this point.
Okay.
Because everybody's like, oh, every episode, Saki Kitty.
Saki Kitty boobs. There we go. That's all I have to say for now on.
Plug track.
Time to cosplay as Vert.
And always with us, not as much as Saki Kitty, but always returning with us, the representative for Delta H-Con, Mr. Oliver Machu.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty much right now just a retired cosplayer and studying fashion design to get much better, and I try to help out as many conventions as I can, doing my best to support the industry.
Even though he didn't go to San Japan. Even though he didn't go to San Japan, he's still here to help us out, talk a little bit about San Japan and give a recap on what we thought about the convention, our thoughts, the pros and cons, and our final review of the convention. So let's get started. So San Japan just happened this past weekend at the in San Antonio. I'm not sure. It was at the Hyatt Convention Center, I believe is what it was called.
Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center.
There you go. He is... God, would you like a job at Geeks 5 Ever?
It's the Henry B. Gonzalez, which is right off of the Riverwalk. It's right outside of the River Center Mall, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's about a block away, if I remember right.
Half a block.
You can take the escalator right out to it.
Yep. We crossed the street and we're already there.
Third or fourth year there now?
I believe it's their fourth year because the last time I was at that very location was in 2012. The last time I was at San Japan, not as a representative of Geeks 5 Ever, but as just the regular cosplayer, I attended and hosted panels in 2012, and that was the last time that I had been to San Japan. Now, I have to say I was very impressed with San Japan this year. I don't know how the rest of you feel. My co-host Matrix, he was impressed too, but then again, he hasn't really been to that many conventions.
Yeah, that would have been my second one, and it was quite a fun time. Everybody there was quite pleasurable, and especially the group we were with. They were all welcoming. Let me in there with them all.
Well, we're not trying to dog on Delta H-Con because we love Delta H-Con, but he said that he attended like 5 panels or at least a day at Delta H-Con, and he attended 1 panel at San Japan, and he had like 10 times more fun. And that's not dogging on the panels or the con. I guess it goes to show that that's why he's part of Geeks Forever, because he found a crew to hang out with and have fun with. So that goes to show you folks, whenever you're going to a convention, it's better to go as a group and invite your friends. That way it makes the experience more fun. So that's why when you go to Delta H Con next year, invite all your friends to make the experience better. Because having a group of friends to hang out with and joke around and throw coconuts at each, um, it makes the con that much better. Panels don't always make and break a convention. Everyone's experience at a convention, whether it be Comic Con, whether it be gaming, whether it be tabletop gaming, or whether it be anime, is very different. No one has the same experience. That's why we always try to invite as many guests onto the show with different opinions of the convention. They can't see y'all's faces. They're making faces at me, trying to get me to laugh and break kayfabe. But I've been doing this for 6 months now, and I've actually become very professional when it comes to hosting my podcast. So let's get Tenzaromon. You were there. How long were you there?
I was there the whole weekend, although my specialty primarily is in the game room.
Wait,
honestly.
hold on.
We just lose Oliver.
Yes, we did. We'll come back to him. Sorry, folks, we have some technical difficulties. We're doing our podcast over Skype this time around. That way, because Miss Kitty doesn't like traveling at night, and usually when we can get together is only at night. So this is something that's different for us, and we're gonna go from there. But Mr. Tenzaromon, please continue what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to specialize more so in the game room. That's where I like to hang out throughout a convention. And this year's game room, being my first time at San Japan, I was really impressed. Now, Tokyo Tech, I know had a problem with DDR 2014. That was sadly not able to be put in. It was a problem like with one of the peripherals got broken for the pad, and so the other machine that another person brought into the Extreme was terrible. But all the rest of the music games were absolutely fantastic, and I think I spent more time playing Tetris there than I did actually playing music games.
Well, did they? Okay, I was about to ask you. Did they have anything other than music games? Because it's someone like me. I don't like as far as music games go, the Guitar Hero is as far as I'm willing to go.
Yeah, I mean, they had all the fighting cabinets that you would expect. They had Smash Brothers. They had a lot of other consoles with the Xbox One that you could play the Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, Halo 4 even on an Xbox 360. I was surprised to even see that. Um, yeah, they just had a large selection of games to play, but it seems more so that it was targeted towards console gaming than arcade gaming in that game room. But I still had an enjoyable time the whole weekend.
Okay. Well, talk to us a little bit more about the gaming room. I mean, overall, this is a recap of the entire convention. We're going to talk about its pros and cons. Where the hell was the gaming room anyway? Because we walked around the con like at least 4 times. We never saw a gaming room.
There was 2 gaming rooms actually. There was one that was like mainly at the convention, but it closes at night. And so there was another gaming room that went on 24/7 in one in the hotel on the 4th floor. That's what I remember.
Okay, Miss Sakiti, tell us a little bit about the con and your experience.
Surprisingly, I was there for Friday, Saturday,
Wait.
and Sunday.
Were you there as a guest?
No, but I do have an interesting story. I actually did do a panel there with Desi Diamond. She's a known cosplayer in San Antonio, and she's like a really good friend. And we always talk about cosplay and everything, and we swap ideas. And she was a little bit late to her panel, so I was there waiting for her, and I was just giving her her Supersonico headphones. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of pictures of me in those things. But unfortunately, she was running a little bit late. People were starting to leave, and I was like, all right, let me entertain them a bit before they leave. And so I was teaching them a little bit hacks and tips and tricks on sewing and pattern making. And so I entertained them for a while, and then she came, and then we did a collaboration together at the convention, which was really neat. But the convention overall, they had a lot of construction, and the convention did get bigger, and it's starting to get bigger. The only thing that I really, I guess I wouldn't necessarily complain, but a lot of people in the community are complaining about San Japan was the dress codes, you know, like people are saying like, oh, we got kicked out or we had to change because of side boob, even though on the forums of San Japan they had diagrams and everything about what to wear, not what to, what to wear, what you can and cannot do. And it was pretty simple, and it said no side boobs, and then people are still like, bitching about this shit.
I want to
I
talk
actually,
about that. The reason that they have this policy and also the shoes policy is because the city of San Antonio requires it.
yeah, and I don't think people quite understand
I'm
that.
gonna interrupt you there for a second, Miss Kitty. Mr. Oliver of Delta H Con, sir, I'm not gonna lie to you. I could barely make out what you were saying.
Okay. What I was saying is that in San Antonio,
Uh-huh.
the laws, a lot of them are based around gangs in the 80s, so you can't bring a pocket knife, and you can't run around shirtless or without shoes, just
But
because somehow they'll stop gang warfare. So
I don't know if
that's
that,
why.
but that policy is kind of universal. Like, no, I mean the McDonald's down the street from me has that policy: no shoes, no shirt, no service.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a lot of policies in general when it comes to things. But people were complaining about that. Like I was talking about it on my page, not on Saki Kitty, but on my personal page about that. And they're all like, "Well, I don't like it. And I want to go to Dragon Con." I'm like, "Well, go to Dragon Con if you really want to. Like no one's like forcing you to go to the con." And their policies is still pretty good. The only thing I would like for them to do, because they had a diagram I remember of what they could, like the bare minimum that they can wear, and they did not have that for males. I
Yeah, the
know
bottoms on
females.
the diagram did kind of look like men's shorts because it was telling men had to keep their junk covered.
Yeah, same thing for women. Women had to wear booty shorts. They couldn't wear, I guess, like something too. They have to cover the butt. That's the bare minimum, and I guess. But I still wish they would have one for men, because some guys, they were running around without shirts on. And I caught about like five of them at the con not wearing shirts. But I'm not a con staff or anything, so I'm just like, whatever. It doesn't technically bother me, but for being equal, if women can't show side boobs, then guys should actually wear shirts. And so, and that was kind of a little bit of a problem at the con, but I still think they should have had something for guys as well too, and not just for girls, like a diagram. So there wouldn't be any confusion. But for people who complain that they couldn't see side boobs, I'm like, shut up, you fucking perverts. If you really want to go see some side boobs, you're not really there for the con. Go to Dragon Con, go to one of the adult cons, which are great, by the way. But, we're not here for your little perversion. That's what I'm like kind of sick of, like the community sometimes.
Yeah, if they want to see side boobs, they should just go to Walmart at midnight.
Man,
Yeah.
look, I'm not gonna lie. I was upset that the booty was covered. Not the booty.
Not the booty. I
Well,
Anyways,
mean,
they substituted
there's
covering the booty
there's
with bare
children there,
chest.
so it makes sense.
that's okay. They're gonna learn anyway. It's called the internet.
Yeah.
Well,
They can complain all they want, but I'm just like,
here's the thing.
no,
We
no
we
fuck.
talked to we talked to the Old Spice guy of San Japan, and we did get a statement from San Japan about the controversy that led up to him being escorted out of the convention. Now, we're doing a separate podcast with him, but needless to say, I can tell you that a lot of the people, especially the males that went to the convention shirtless, did get a lot of heat from the convention itself.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of the males that had no shirts on, that didn't get any heat, were the ones that had their nipples covered up. So there was a little bit of a gray area with the security. Now, they have not made a statement on that per se. They just made a statement saying that there will be an investigation leading up to as to why the Chris Bonnet was kicked out of the convention. Also, he is not permanently banned from the convention. Now, it before everyone before it went public that he was not banned, I knew he wasn't banned because I had spoke to media representative of San Japan, and they gave me that statement, and they told me that what happened to him is very tragic, but at the same time they have to do an internal investigation to find out what happened. But he is not banned from the convention. He's actually welcome to come back the following year.
Yeah, and that's why I said that there should be a diagram for men and not just for women. I mean, granted, a lot of women are most, they're the ones that do most of the cosplays and mostly showcase and everything. But, even I took some pictures of guys that were not wearing shirts, and to me, I'm just like, at the same time, they're not supposed to do that, but there's only so much the staff can do. There are going to be like quote unquote, bad seeds or people that are breaking the rules. And that's where the problem, really lies is like, well, they can't catch everybody. Sound Japan was huge. It was really, really big. So I don't think they should like, oh, where I saw this guy and that guy and what happened. I'm like, come on, the crowd was just all over the place, and most of them I saw were like on the third or fourth floor, so there wasn't a lot of staff there. So, that might have been one of the issues, and also the halls were pretty crowded. You could literally get lost in those things. So, granted, they did get away with it, but at the same time, when I took those pictures, there was no cat staff around that convention or around that area as well, too. I mean, I think they knew what they were doing.
Well, it's no different than speeding on the freeway. There's no cops around. I'm going to speed, and when they're there, you put your shirt back on.
Yeah, I mean, even I had an extra pair of pants, or not pants, but shorts, because I was Harley Quinn on Saturday, and I even thought that the booty shorts that I have were a bit too small. And then in Suicide Squad, they're meant to be small, but I didn't know if it covered the amount that it's supposed to be, which is going to be 60%. But they also said on the website, if you think that it would not follow staff rules and regulations when it comes to co-dress, bring a pair of shorts, bring a shirt just in case, so you don't have to like have this argument. It's like, well, I have a shirt, and they even state when you're taking pictures, you can take it off, and then you have to put it back on. So, I mean, there was some lenient way of when it came to photos, which is understandable. But, some people, they just don't want to do that, I guess. I mean, I carry a pair of shorts just in case if they were going to complain about my booty.
Well, there are a lot
I
of
don't think anybody's
people.
going to complain about that.
Me and Mark, we saw the Luffy girl, the girl that was cosplaying Luffy from One Piece, who had her red shirt opened and all she had on was a bra.
Oh, we finally figured out who she was playing?
We always knew. I was
Yeah.
just trying not to stare. I was just like, no, this is a family con. No, this is.
Well, technically it was covered. I mean, I would
At least it was a
technically
full bra.
wear just like
I mean, yeah, but
bikini
still,
top.
yeah, but people were complaining about her because nobody told her anything. Because of course, as a guy, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, she was doing nothing wrong though. She had probably more than 60% covered. She had a full figured bra on.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
That's-
so
forgot.
that's the
people,
thing,
you got
it
people with
has
sticks
to
up
be
their butt because it's a bra.
Yeah, I personally don't see anything wrong with it. But granted, it's quote unquote underwear, but then again, it says it didn't have to. It's like as long as it's 60% covered, you're fine. I would wear a bikini. I mean, they even said you could wear bikinis. I seen girls wearing bikinis there, so I don't care.
Where did you see these girls?
At the artist alley, there was this really very attractive Bulma. She was in the Playboy outfit. She had the blue stocking, she had a Dragon Ball, she had the bunny ears and everything. She was really cute. She was like right at the entrance of the artist alley. It was like, damn, she had a nice booty. But
Yeah, I even saw a cosplayer doing Leafa from SAO Extra Edition inside of the dealer's room.
Well, since we're talking about cosplayers, I want to give a. I doubt that they listen to the podcast, but I would love to get a shout out to the Godzilla cosplayer that was there
oh
Saturday.
my yes,
I mean, whoa! I was like,
that looked
mind
real.
blown.
Like, it was so amazing. Like, they had to make it. I actually looked up close at the costume because they're like, just like, they had it like on a bit of like a trolley or something, and they're just lugging this huge massive costume, and I was like, what the hell? And I saw, and they actually, I think they made it out of like foam, but it's like the really puffy foam that you could get at Joann's, and they just shaped it to what Godzilla looks like, and with the spikes and everything, and it looks like they spray paint it, or they at least did paint it for all the details and everything, so it looks like Godzilla, and it was really nicely done. I wonder if they won anything, because I would totally vote for them. That was amazing.
I don't think maybe they didn't enter the contest. Remember, a lot of the top-notch cosplayers no longer enter the contest anymore.
Well, because I think part of the reason, which I talked about in a previous podcast, that San Japan, I believe A-Con and A-Fest, they're all establishing the you have to show your progress pictures now. So if you have to show at least 10 progress pictures. And if you don't have any progress pictures of your costume, then you can't enter in for the cosplay contest. And people are screaming, bloody murder about this, but at the same time, I'm like, they have to make sure that you made it, because fucking people lie. I mean, some people are complaining about that. I'm like, man, bitch, I see you put like 10 selfies a week, and you
Well,
can't take one picture of you making something. I'm just like, what the hell? But rules are rules, and I do believe it's getting rid of the liars and whatnots. But I don't see a problem with it. But I could see why other people would probably complain for it. I mean, for me, no, because I have like hundreds of progress pictures. I'm actually planning to make a website and show everything. So if anybody wants to see, it's like right there.
um, well, Mr. Oliver, sir, you weren't at San Japan this year.
No, but I went starting at San Japan 1.5. That's where I met you, and I've been going over the years, and convention's a convention. What I see is San Japan 1.5. A lot of people were unhappy with how the security acted because they wouldn't allow airsoft rifles, and technically airsoft is illegal in the city of San Antonio. And quite a few things that people have been complaining about. The con has been trying to go around the city to allow people to have these entertainment benefits, and it's really hard to say that San Japan did anything at fault here, because a few of the things that people are wanting to bring to San Antonio are technically legal, and they've been getting away for it because, it's a convention and there's special rules for it.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that San Japan is trying to accommodate for its goers and for its fans and everything like that. And like, I get mad when like people are like bitch and complain. They're like, I'm not gonna go, and it's just like, okay, here's a clap for you, congratulations. It's not. I mean, I'm still gonna go. Their rules. They're pretty straightforward rules. I mean, and they have been changing over the years. So I at least give them credit. They are fixing it. They honestly they did a pretty good job for me, So I didn't have for me I didn't have a bad experience. The only
But
thing I complain about is like they need to have diagrams for guys. Because
what you said about
that's what the problem of this San Japan is, like the guys getting away with the shirts or not wearing shirts, sorry.
what you said about the cosplay contest also, part of the reason nobody really does the contest anymore is because they run like 4 hours operating time, and if you're a top-notch cosplayer, you want to have fun at the con. You don't want to be trapped in a small room for 4 hours.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And
you're
that's one
wearing,
of the reasons I don't really do I guess contests that much anymore. I'd rather go to smaller cons and do it because it's like 2 hours instead of 5 hours.
and
Yeah,
the
that
other
that
thing
does
that I
make
saw.
sense. That's one of the reasons why a lot of our members at Geeks 5 Ever aren't allowed to enter the cosplay contest, because it takes 4 hours, and normally during the cosplay contest we have to host a panel, and we are the alternative form of entertainment when it comes to the convention. If you don't want to go to the cosplay contest, well, we have this, and it's a comedy based panel, so normally like most of our panels are all hands on deck, but we do try to work with some of our members, and honestly,
Yeah,
we
I'm
only
making my
have
first one I'm entering.
all of our members. Like, we have a lot of. There are really only like 4 of us right now. Oh, 5 because another one of our members from Box of Props Mario is a panelist with us, so he's part of our group as far as the panels go, and he does want to get involved with the podcast. But as far as like backstage, behind the curtain goes, it's really just me, Black Sonic, and Mr. Matrix here.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the problems with when it comes to cosplay contests and whatnot is that, and I see this with like, because I've been a judge at contests as well too, is that sometimes the cosplayers they don't make it or they don't show up. So, and then they have to make accommodations for that because, like, all of a sudden they signed up and then they never show up to the contest. And they're like, well, they're not here. We got to kick them out. And then sometimes they show up later and it's like, well, we got to fit them right in there again. So I know some contests are being strict on that. They're like, look, if you didn't make it on time, too late. Sorry. We can't. The show has to continue on. It's not going to stop for you, special snowflake. But you
Well,
know but i think
prior,
i think there should be maybe two different contests like separately if it's like a big con like for San Japan for instance. I mean, this is just a suggestion, like they should have one for beginners, probably like on like a Friday or something, and then the experts for like on a Saturday.
yeah, but how do you prove you're a beginner?
Say each one has rules and regulations, like if you won previously at a contest, then you go to being expert. And if they sometimes if they think that your costume is too good for being a beginner, they bump you up to being expert. And that has happened to me before. Like I entered in contests before, which sometimes I do and don't, but the time I entered contest, I was already really good at sewing. And so they're like, no, no, you're not beginner. You're gonna go up to being expert. I'm like, okay, and that happens. That does happen in contests, because they're like, oh, you're trying to win beginners. You need to be an expert. Just go up here.
Well, the
And
problem
that
with
should
that
be
is
taken
that,
as like a compliment too, if that you get bumped up because it's saying your skills are pretty good.
Yeah, and then some people don't like that because I see a lot of experts who have won before go to beginners because they want that award. Because if they go bump up to expert, it's really hard to win awards. I mean, even I have lost contests before, and that doesn't bring me down. I won a few and I lost a few, but hey, there's people that are better than me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I love challenges, but
yeah,
that's one of the things. But I think maybe for future for other cons, like maybe it should be separate.
I just think that there's too much of a gray area because um, unless you've won at that convention and they keep a record, then anyone could obviously show up and say, "Oh, well, I've never won an award and I'm a beginner," and then they enter the beginner contest. They lied about winning an award, and then they win another award as a beginner when they're clearly not.
That's true. I mean, I remember there's this one cosplayer. They built something. I'm not gonna say because it's a wonderful costume, but they won several times at the same convention every year with the same costume. So it's kind of like, all right, where what happened? I understand if they won at other conventions, but it's like the same convention, like I think 2 or 3 times in a row. So that's when I think there should be it should be at least for your own convention there should be a record of this. But it happens, and people lie all the time, or not all the time, but people do lie sometimes when it comes to cosplay contests. That's why for me, I'm like, I'm okay with San Japan and also other conventions as well too. When they said you have to show progress pictures, like that happened at Common Palooza, you have to show progress pictures, or else they're not going to really count your outfit. You know, because people lie. People will take other people's credit as well too. So
All right,
it
well,
happens.
we're gonna stop the subject there. We're gonna go back to our original subject. So, but let's talk about San Japan as a whole.
Um,
Overall, let's talk about some of your pros for the con. And we're gonna start off with We're gonna start off with Matrix's opinion first.
Oh, let's see. Let's see. We were only there for 1 day. Well, we were only supposed to be there for 1 day. It ended up being 2. Get that story later.
Yeah. This podcast is brought to you by Shit Happens. Remember, folks, whenever you try to plan something out, shit happens.
Demonetization.
I don't help out other people because then you get bit in the butt in the end. Yeah, so let's see. It was pretty good. It seemed well coordinated. No big mishaps other than the stuff that everybody knows about.
Box cutter.
Security was pretty good. I tested it a few times. Got past them. But no, I had a lot of fun seeing all the people in dress. I was mostly there for Geeks 5 Ever, so I wasn't really able to go look at too much stuff. Hanging out, taking pictures of everybody, doing the panel, that was lots of fun. Everybody's complaining about panels. I don't know. We had a packed house, and they didn't even get up and leave in the middle of it. Like, they didn't kind of shuffle in and out. It was packed the whole time, and ran an extra 30 minutes. So that was quite impressive.
Let's talk a little bit about what you just mentioned. See, the problem with panels, and it's like Oliver said in the past, panels aren't regulated by the convention. Right. Panels are depending on the guests and the volunteers that sign up to run the panels. Now, the thing is, people, and I genuinely think people are sick of Ask a Cosplayer panels, or Ask a Nation, or Ask a Homestuck, or Ask a Jedi. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's an Ask panel, people are sick of it because it's always the same thing over and over. You'll have 1 or 2 questions that are about that character's actual characteristics, and then suddenly it turns into
truth or dare.
It turns into a truth or dare, or who would they rather have sex with, So
I mean, I remember y'all said this to me probably like a week ago or something, because I was complaining about, oh my god, it's the same damn panels every single time. Like, it's the same, like, general genre of anime, like Bleach and Naruto and Dragon Ball Z.
Hey.
Hey, your panel was awesome, but like, I see, and I'm not talking about your panels. I'm talking about other people's panels, and like, I'm just like, oh, another just like Naruto fan base, another Bleach fan base. And the thing is, like, these animes, they're good, but they're pretty much like gone, so for me, I'm just like, I want new panels. And then y'all pointed at me, and Chris did too. They're like, if you don't like them, why don't you do your own? And I was like, yes, I should do my own. Why in the hell am I always like bitching at this? I can always change. And I think that's like, if you don't like the panels, and if it's not like a panel that fits to like your genre of anime, because I don't see a lot of Tokyo Ghoul panels. There was one at San Japan, or with horror type of anime, and I'm like, well, you could just have your own panel, which is, it's a good idea, and I'm actually taking that to heart right now, and trying to fix some things in my life. But after that, I might actually start doing panels at conventions when it comes to leatherworking, because I don't see that much anymore of that in panels. Like,
well,
that's kind of just.
I would like to make a recommendation to anyone signing up for a panel. I would start off with a smaller convention. Like, Delta H-Con is perfect. No offense. Delta H-Con is perfect because it's a really good convention, but it's smaller because a lot of the people that want to sign up for panels have never done public speaking, or they've never spoken in front of a crowd. And doing a panel can be nerve-wracking, even for somebody that's, someone for like me, because everybody talks about how I have a lot of charisma, but the first time I hosted a panel, I nearly choked, because it is nerve-wracking, because you don't know how these people are going to judge you or judge your panel, because a panel can make or break your reputation as far as hosting another panel the following year, because these cons will judge you based on how well you did at that panel, and they do listen to people when it comes to that panel. That's why a lot of people have a hard time getting panels. When they submit a panel, there's too many panels with the same similar idea. That's why we stopped. That's why we do versus panels, because we want to offer people an alternative instead of going there and listening to a bunch of cosplayers talk about their characters' lifestyles. Our versus panels are comedy roasting panels where the audience members are welcome to come to the stage and talk trash to each other, as long as it's within, as long as it's friendly trash talking. I don't know how that makes any sense, but we established that no matter what is said during the panel, at the end of the day, you know, we want you to respect each other as fandoms. But overall, I mean, our panel, our Dragon Ball versus Naruto panel, was really, really well done because we were constantly making jokes, and people made jokes at my expense because, you know, I'm brown skinned. They kept making taco jokes and Donald Trump jokes and Border Patrol jokes and illegal immigrant jokes, and it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't insulted at all. And I made jokes with them. I made jokes at my own expense. But the thing was, the people were entertained. Why did you show me a PlayStation 4 controller? Anyways,
We got two members playing each other.
our yeah, because he's over here playing Metal Gear Solid, I think. Anyways, so the people were entertained. They had a good laugh. I mean, it was different. It was different. And like at one point, I had to go outside and convince the door guy to let more people in. Like he's like, "Hey man, let all these people in." He's like, "No, you guys are packed." No, 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 we're not packed. We have seats, and our host for the panel even had to give up some of their seats so people could sit down during the panel because the room they gave us was way too small. I mean, it was a good sized room.
It was a big room. That was a big room. You know, like
It
you
was
said,
still
we
too small for
packed
the
it.
crowd that we had.
Yeah, we packed it and it stayed packed.
Yeah, it stayed packed for like 95% of the panel. And normally, but when you start winding down, people are already leaving. But no, people didn't leave until after we were done, and that was really exciting. Now, see, the problem with a lot of these panels is that I did look at a lot of them, and and like I said, it's always the same thing over and over and over and over. And when I announced that next year for San Japan that we were going to announce that we're doing a what was it, TMNT versus Power Rangers and Star Trek versus Star Wars, people went nuts. They actually liked that idea. So, Mr. Tenzaromon, why don't you give us a little bit of, besides the gaming room, did you experience anything else from the convention?
Yeah, I went to a few panels. The one I personally liked, for me, was I went to a cosplay panel about school uniforms and getting measured. She forgot her measuring tape for that, but being able to actually learn a bit
Wait,
more on.
you carry measuring tape handily? Like,
No, the person hosting it was going to be having measuring tape to measure people so that way we could, you know, do it for future cosplays. But she forgot her tape. But just learning more about cosplay for me is something I just really enjoy. Other than that, really not much on the panels. The dealer's room, though, I definitely can say was extremely good this year, and same with Artist Alley.
okay, well, like, Mr. Like, okay, well, we're gonna talk. These are kind of like the pros or the con. What are we talking about? The pros or the cons? We're talking about the cons. The con with me for the con for the con for the con. Oh, damn. Um,
I
was the
mean,
was the wristband thing. It killed it for me. That pissed me off.
well, I mean, they can't please everything. The one thing I do like about the con was that they had adult panels. You
Yes,
know,
yes, they did.
they had adult panels, and this is and I'm looking at the other conventions because they're getting rid of these adult panels, and I'm just like, come on, it's not that hard. You get someone to check their ID, and you're able to go. And if they don't have their ID, and if they're not over 18, well, they can't get in. The Team 4-star panel was awesome. I went there and I was just laughing my ass off on that one. And they did a lot of skits and people asked questions of like to do impressions of, and they one person asked like, hey, do an impression of like y'all characters having an orgasm, you know, and that was fucking hilarious. The one who did the voice actor who does Krillin in the Dragon Ball Z Bridge series, that was hilarious. Everybody was rolling on the floor for that one. But that was a good experience. There was a Funimation hentai showing where they showed a lot of hentai and ichi videos and stuff like that, like a preview of what's going to coming up for all you hentai lovers. So that was a lot of fun as well too. My friend Chris, he went there. He absolutely had a ball there. He's like, nothing boobs, tentacles, all the hentai that you like. So to me, it was, I like the fact that they have adult-like panels, and because some conventions are getting rid of it, which it kind of is pissing me off because at night there's like, oh, the only thing you could do is either play games or go to a hotel and get drunk, which the hotel get drunk is fine, but I love, like, I'm a pervert. I'm a pervert, so I want to see
Oh,
hentai.
oh, I don't
Yeah,
want to
mix the
talk
two.
about it, but we had a
But even some people, they'll have hentai showings in their hotel room. Where they're
the
like, we can't have hentai or show it here at the con, but we can show it in our hotel room. You can come over here and watch hentai. And I'm like, this doesn't seem
that sounds
safe.
creepy.
It sounds like you want to
It doesn't sound
watch
so
some
safe.
hentai with me. It's
There's
just gonna
like
be you,
there's
me, and 5 other guys. No, thank
there's
you.
10 guys in there, and there's like you're the only girl.
I'm the only female there. I'm like, this does not seem safe. But I did, and I think and I don't know if this is true or not, because I think because people keep saying like a lot of the panels were canceled. I didn't know if some of them were canceled or not, but
That okay, the thing was a lot of panels I don't know if a lot of panels were canceled. I know some panels were canceled because San Japan's really strict on their panelists showing up. When you arrive at the convention, you have to check in with there's a table, a booth where they say panelist check-in.
the
If
check-in was on Thursday. I knew
no,
that because
it was any day you had a panel.
okay, because like I think maybe some panelists were confused because they said the check-in was like on Thursday, and so if you didn't check in, then your panel was canceled.
No, no, I think
I
it was. I have the email still, or no, I deleted it. Never mind. But
okay.
I think it was at least a few hours before your panel begins.
Yeah. Well, I mean that I can understand because some people don't show up to their panels because I think they're like, oh, I'm gonna make a panel and I'm gonna get like a free badge for the rest of the con, and then they have a panel and then they don't show up. And I can understand if like conventions want to have stricter rules and regulations when it comes to panelists and whatnot.
Well, that's why a lot of conventions are now Delta. Uh, Delta's the only one that didn't do it, but that's because we were invited to submit. But a lot of conventions like IkiCon and San Japan and AllCon and all these conventions, I just said IkiCon. The first year you submit panels is a probation period, and if you do really well, then the following year they let you have more freedom. But the first year they'll give you one or two panels just to make sure that you're reliable and you're not just going to cheat them out of a
For
badge.
for Delta, we usually sort of communicate back and forth with the panel list, and if they feel a little bit sketchy, we'll just approve one or two panels, depending. But most of the people who are panelists for Delta are repeat panelists from other conventions, so
Right.
we don't run into the new panelist too often.
Yeah, I think we were one of the few groups that were new this year as far as running panels goes for Delta. But it was a lot of miscommunication, and that's something they're going to have to work on because even I noticed the email like a couple of days before the convention, and so I had to make sure that we were checked in on Saturday to make sure they didn't cancel our panel because they will cancel your panel if you don't check in by a certain time.
Yeah, and that's understandable. And I think I don't know if this is a problem or I'm just making a little bit of assumption. I don't think people have checked in. Because I did panels before, and usually they're like a week, during a week before the con, or even 2 weeks. They're like, okay, your panels have been checked, and you're going to do these, and there you go. Or sometimes they'll approve it a month ahead of time, and then they'll give you the schedule a week before the con or 2 weeks before the con, and it's usually like, yeah, you have a panel, you're gonna have to do it. But I guess there's been issues with conventions that they don't show up to their panels, and I've seen that happen. I've seen definitely people that are like, no, I'm not going to do my panel. I'm just like, what the hell, You can't just like decide not to do it. So I guess this is a way to make sure. So it's not always people. You got to remember, sometimes it's not always the con's fault that these panels have mysteriously been canceled, because sometimes people just don't check in or they didn't show up.
And
It's not
it's not always that they're lazy or they decide not to do it. Some stuff, some
some stuff
life
happens.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes the panelists, or they weren't able to make it to the con, or they were really sick, or something happened during the con that they can't do it. So it's not always because that they're lazy. I'm sorry if I made that assumption, but sometimes stuff happens, so you can't always blame certain situations. But as in for check-in, I can understand that. But usually, maybe an email will do it.
All right, Mr. Oliver, sir, we've hardly heard from you all day today or the whole time. What would you like to say about San Japan?
With the wristbands thing, are you talking about the hotel wristbands?
Yes, sir.
Um, that's something that the hotel had to institute because they have 3 main hotels in the area, and they all get booked. And the nicest hotel is the one that's the con hotel, and it gets all the traffic from people going into the convention, and it also gets everybody wanting to party at big hotel. So without it, it became a big problem. So you can't fault that on San Japan, and they've been doing it for every convention they have at the HB area now. So I know that
Wait,
San
they've been
Antonio,
having it where?
San Antonio Comic Con.
That was
Did
the
it.
only hotel that was doing. The Hyatt was the only hotel
Yeah.
checking wristbands that weekend. The Marriott right across the street wasn't.
Yeah, that's just because it's the main hotel, and
Right.
it's been doing it for every other convention in the area.
I mean, me and Matrix here, we went to we were supposed to leave Saturday night, but we ended up going to a room party. And the room party, we left the room and we actually passed by security in the hallway as they were going to go knock on the door.
That was out in the nick of time.
Yeah, that was really in the nick of time. There was a box cutter incident, but we're not going to get into that.
Oh,
That'd be liability
I
issue
stayed
with
at the Hilton, and they charge like an arm and a leg for an extra person, and it was so messed up because we had a room with two queens, and then they only allow one person in there. I'm like, wait a minute, so we have a room with 2 beds, and only one person is allowed to be in here? Like, what the fuck is going on here, Hilton? What the
By
fuck?
Texas state law, technically, when you reserve a room, it's for 2 people.
For how many?
2. So
Oh,
regardless,
really? Okay, I'm gonna
It's
Should be
four.
something
4.
like that.
It's four.
Yeah, 2
Four
queens,
is
4
the-
people.
4 is the fire hazard maximum.
Yeah.
but automatically, any reception for a room includes 2, so they can't charge you for 2 people.
Well, they
is-
definitely do that to him. They charged him like
Shit.
$200 extra for that.
They're not even supposed to
Which was-
say anything to you. If security walks in, they're like noise complaint. They see only 4 people in there, they're not supposed to say anything.
Yeah. But, I remember, I went to y'all's hotel room and I came down by the elevators, and they were checking people with wristbands even when they're coming in or out of the elevators.
They were checking you.
They were checking.
Well, they checked something else, so they didn't see my wrist.
There you go.
Oh, they weren't. I don't know what they were checking on me then.
They didn't even look at you. They're like, "Oh, white guy, keep walking."
White guy. He
And,
doesn't look like
excuse me,
that.
man. We're gonna have to
Privilege.
pat you down. The privilege. He has the privilege.
Yeah.
There's been a lot more hotels having security sweep the rooms. I remember Onicon this year, this last year.
That's because of. I'm not gonna get into that, but that's our group's fault.
They literally, the first floor of the hotel for Onicon, there were just cops walking in and out, checking people's rooms and being like, "You people are making noise." It's like, you guys just woke us up. And they were just checking.
Mr. Tenzaromon, do you have anything? What do you? Okay, so we're gonna start getting to the part of the podcast where we're gonna start getting reviews from everyone except for Mr. Oliver of Delta HCon is gonna give a review because he wasn't there. How can he give a review when he wasn't there? I was there in spirit.
Have to do schoolwork.
Hey, we're not dogging you for not going. We're dogging you for wanting to give a score.
I give Oliver a -2 out of 4.
Damn. He just met you. He's already talking shit. Anyways, all right. Give us your pros and cons for the convention, and give us a rating of 1 to 10, Mr. TENZAROMON.
Some of the major pluses is that the game room had a great selection, obviously.
Okay.
The panels, I definitely love the variety of panels. The major con for me about it was everything was way too far spread out. Like, I understand about the construction, but it just felt like I had to walk over a mile just to be able to go to some places. And also having to actually exit the convention center and make a right to go into the Grand Hyatt just to be able to go to the rave. That literally was at least a mile. And for people who have physical disabilities, that's going to be a heck of a challenge just for them to be able to go a mile to get to the rave.
I'm not even going to say anything. Okay. Anything else? Did you have any other problems with the convention?
No real problems at all.
What did you like most about it besides the game room?
Besides the game room, I loved the dealer's room. There was just everything you could think of, and I will freely admit I kind of spent a little bit of time at the Dojin Hentai area. Yeah.
No one can see your face. You don't have to be ashamed.
Hey, they may not be able to see my face, but they can sure see it when they go on my channel.
I won't plug your channel. That's fine.
To plug it in.
Plug it in. Plug it in.
Oh my.
Anyway,
Oh
all right.
my.
So, in a score of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, what would you rate San Japan 2016?
Being my first time attending, I'd give it a solid 7.75 out of 10.
Okay, no, it's either 7. Oh, wait, what?
7.75 out of 10.
Okay, you can do 7.5, but 7.75 is just like.
Rounded up, it's 8.
Okay, so you're going to give it an 8?
Yeah, for a first time, definitely 8 out of 10. Can't wait to see what they're going to do next time, and just so I don't have to worry about driving and parking, it's going to be cheaper to take Amtrak, so I'll be taking that.
All right, Mr. Oliver of Delta HCon, based on what you've heard, what do you think San Japan can improve, and where do you think Delta HCon can take as well from the criticism that San Japan received to also improve itself?
I think the important thing we can take this year is more of an expressed rules on clothing, what people can and can't wear. Also, I think I will talk to the staff about having a daily panelist check-in, because a lot of the times you have people who just don't do their panels on Sunday for a lot of conventions. So being able to sort of check who's coming, who's not.
Okay, but I the rape. Anyways,
And we've already sort of talked about the rave. We've had professional DJs, and it's renting a DJ, even a bad one's like $3,000.
What?
So
What?
yeah.
No, y'all just throw in an extra badge and I'll do it for free.
Oh yeah, don't forget too that this year they had Masayoshi Mitashima over there.
Who?
And Masayoshi Mitashima, the easiest way to remember who that person is it's the person who did the song Bad Apple.
Who?
Masayoshi Mitashima.
I don't know. I've never heard of that name. I've never heard of the song Bad Apple. I've heard of Apple.
There's a certain voice actor I've been hoping to talk to about coming to Delta H, because he does a lot of DJ work, and I would like to have him as a DJ.
Hey, we threw our name in that hat. Anyways, okay. So hopefully we get to talk to that guy soon. All right, Miss Kitty, what were your we talked about your pros and cons for the con, but what are the one things that you wish they would change for next year? What's the one thing you really enjoyed, and what is your final score for the convention?
Okay. Let's see. The pro for me is the fact that they had adult panels. That's my forte. I like the fact that they do have adult panels, and I like the fact that I think it was Funimation that came out there and they showed some of the adult content that they were having, which was good. And they had some pretty good panels as well too. Nothing of like actually new ones.
So,
The con for me is sadly they need to have more details for the, because since I'm a cosplayer, more details for the man side, like their own diagram of what guys can and cannot do, because it was a little wishy-washy. I would even understand that because they said 60% covered, but they said just like the top area where the chest or the breasts are basically. So guys also took that as an initiative as well too. So they only had to cover just like the top, but what if they had to cover more than just the top? So they should probably have a diagram like for that, because that's what I'm hearing a lot of complaints about for San Japan is that area.
Okay, what would be your final score? Oh wait, Mr. Oliver, did you have something else to add?
you said the keyword Funimation. Have you heard of the news of the day?
What?
Crunchyroll and Funimation are doing a partnership.
Yeah.
Everything that Crunchyroll owns the American rights for will now be dubbed by Funimation, and everything that Funimation had on their on-demand service that was basically only available in English or they hadn't gotten to dub it yet will now be available subbed on Crunchyroll.
Finally, about time. That's good.
That,
That's good
that's
news.
an otaku's dream.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer English or Japanese, but sometimes I prefer the Japanese versions.
If you only like subs, you do Crunchyroll, and if you only do dubs, you do Funimation.
Yeah,
Okay,
And
which is good.
What about ADV?
a lot of the shows for ADV are now Sentai Filmworks and Viz. So
Yeah.
Viz, I know, already did a partnership with Crunchyroll. Sometimes for premium members, you can have dubs available. I know they have it for Ranma and Cardcaptor.
I did see Ranma at Walmart for $12 for the first volume.
That's classic.
Okay, let's Miss Side Kitty, what is your final score for San Japan?
I'd probably give it an 8.8 basically. It's not necessarily like to me a 9.
You mind if we say 8.5?
8.5's fine. It's because some of the problems that they had was the dress code problem that I heard about. There was also construction, but they couldn't help that. And then there was also the like everything spread out. I really wish that hopefully maybe next year when the construction's over that everything will be at the convention center instead of going back and forth to one hotel and then going back to the convention and everything, because it gets confusing. I mean, for me, last year was very confusing. This year was less confusing. I mean, they're trying their best, but that construction site, I'm like, that was really, really bad timing.
Hey, were you there for the first 3 years?
I
No,
was.
I wasn't. I was not
I
there for the
was.
first 3 years.
Back in the day, it used to be at an auditorium, mostly the basement of an auditorium, and all the panels were at the hotel across the street, and it was in August.
It was 100 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm. You had to cross the street around the riverwalk.
It was a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, inside and outside. It was funny. So you can't blame them too much. They have a history.
Yeah, I mean, this con has gotten huge. And how long have they been going? I
This
think
is their 9th year.
9th car, yeah. So next year is going to be like a decade, and I'm glad that this con is growing. But yeah, they're definitely doing very, very well.
San Japan and Onicon are twin conventions, and I always love to see just how with the same amount of staff for the first year and basically the same quality of location, how much just a minor change in advertising has done a difference over 9 years.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Matrix, sir, what are the things you liked most about the con? What is the one thing you hope that they can change for next year? And what is your final rating for the convention itself?
Let's see. Well, for being only my second con ever, and the first time being to this one, I'm going to start off. I'm going to say was an 8.5 for me. big pro. Regardless of all the people that we see online complaining and bitching about everything, I loved all the people. Just everybody that I ran into, great bunch of people, happy people, great to get along with. I didn't see any of that bullshit that was going on with everybody else. And as far as a con, I don't know, we weren't there long enough, but I would say my only con would be driving to San Antonio twice.
Yeah. So we were on our way back to Houston. We were an hour away from my house, not Houston, my house. And we get a phone call. Hey, we need you to come back because your friend's backpack that you took with you, well, his car keys are in the backpack and he can't leave the convention. And my friend also lives in Houston. So we're like, damn it. So we actually pulled over to make sure the keys were in the backpack to make sure we weren't going to just waste our time. Sure enough, there they were. And so we had to drive back an hour and a half.
It was like a
That's what
4-hour.
was going on. It's like, we're back. I'm like, what
Yeah,
the hell?
it was like a 2-hour drive out, another hour and a half back in. So I was like 5 hours just driving and miserable.
Yeah.
Might as well be going to Akon in Dallas for that.
Oh, even Dallas is like 3.5 to 3 hours and 45 minutes. Where this was like
You can see home.
it was 5 hours.
Yeah, that's why I can't wait for Texas Central Railway to come in, because at least using the Nozomi 700 series is only going to be an hour to hour and a half to get to Dallas.
I'm still driving.
Everything.
I can't wait for that because, like, I mean, here in Texas is huge, and that's something. I mean, if there was an ability for me to go, back and forth to Dallas and even San Antonio, I would do that in a heartbeat. I'll just do, I'll just find a way to get to the hotel and everything. The only bad thing is that you won't have technically a car for you to drive around whenever you want. But most of the time, we barely drive anywhere.
What I recommend actually with San Japan is for anyone living in Houston, you can take the Sunset Limited. There's going to be an Amtrak train that goes to San Antonio. You have the downside of arriving at midnight, but for $21 one way, 21 back for about the cost of parking for 2 nights, it's a round trip ticket and you get 2 bags. It's really much better for people living in Houston.
I don't know, man. $21 is more than what it cost to fill up his car, and that was one way.
Dude, $21 is about a tank. And a gallon for me. Okay.
No, but his car does better than your car.
Yeah, but I got
his car was
obliterated
like
with multiple
$5. Seriously, like he gets off to pump the gas, and like I blink and he's done.
It only takes $12 to fill my tank.
Exactly.
Yeah, and hopefully, that would be better for like Uber or taxi drivers. Like they could just pick up people and take them wherever they
Uber
need to
cross country.
Not worth it at that point.
All right. Well, anyways, is there anything else, Matrix, that you would change about the con, or you liked about the con?
No, I'm happy with it.
You were happy? It's only your second convention.
Right. It's only my second one. I was only technically there for one day, spending its 2, so not enough time there to find what everybody was bitching about because I had a good time. Because
everyone's given their 2 cents on the convention, so I'm going to give mine, and then I'm going to give my final review. I enjoyed the convention. I stopped attending San Japan in 2012, but I had been going since 2008, and I have to say it was a vast improvement from the last time I was at that location. It is definitely a lot bigger. Yes, there was construction, but the construction, I didn't mind it too much. Overall, the people were nice. They were friendly. It was easy to talk to people, and that's very rare for a big convention, especially anime. One of the downsides I had though was the fact that they were kind of insisting that you donate money towards the formal. Now you didn't have to pay to get in; it was a donation, but the recommended donation was $15.
Yeah, but I think you also had to buy tickets to.
Yeah, that's what
formal.
the tickets was.
And there's also, I think there were tickets also to the cosplay contest as well.
Well, you could buy the tickets at the door. You didn't have to buy them online. You could actually get them at the door, and they were like, oh, well, it's $15. Well, that was the donation recommendation. It wasn't the actual
There's fine
ticket.
print that said the ticket comes with your badge.
Yes.
So she just like, no.
There was fine print, so you didn't have to donate.
Yeah, but I didn't hear much complaint about like the tickets.
The ticket was to maintain like a populace level because they didn't want to they didn't want to keep track
fire
of how many.
hazards and
They didn't want to keep track of how many people were going in and out. So, like, if you got a ticket, that meant if you didn't get a ticket, that means they reached their limit, their fire code limit, and they couldn't let any more in.
yeah.
That's what it all had to do with. Now, that is a lot of people like my problem with a lot of conventions is the formal, but that's just me personally. One of the problems I had though, and I guess it doesn't have to do with the convention itself, but it has to do with the hotel, is the wristband. But I can get past that. Overall, I enjoyed the convention. I enjoyed the cosplayers. The cosplayers there were amazing. There was a lot of like new cosplayers I've never seen before. I got to make a lot of friends. It was overall a very good experience for me. I enjoyed it. It was a much needed experience because at Delta H Con we did have some con drama, and I needed this San Japan experience. So technical difficulties. What I was trying to, I don't even know where I was going with the last thing I said. It took us like 5 minutes to try to get the Skype call back for the podcast. Either way, I enjoyed the con. I thought it was a vast improvement. I do look forward to coming back next year with Geeks 5 Ever and submitting more panels, and hopefully we'll be able to do more and promote ourselves more. And we'll be a lot bigger them, not them, then. But overall, I do give the convention a 9 out of 10, even though I was only there for a day. So the score does average out to 8.5. So the overall score for San Japan 2016 is 8.5. Now, I would like to say, so for the links for TENZAROMON and Nikki Saki Kitty, I'm
Better
sorry.
edit that out.
No, I'm not editing out shit. I'm lazy. I already have to do. I have
Phone
to.
number is.
Phone number. You can call us at 1-800-DAMN-BOOTY.
Damn booty.
Damn. Overall, you guys have anything left to say before we end the podcast?
Well, one of the things I definitely will say is if anyone from Geeks 5 Ever wants to come with me for Mag Fest next year in early January, just let me know.
I'm poor.
What's a mag?
You're
Isn't
poor.
there another convention coming up? Houston Amazing?
Amazing.
Oh.
Houston.
That's this weekend.
That's this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll be at roller derby.
I gotta say this for everybody: if you want good panels at a convention, you gotta apply.
That's right. If you want good
Steve was
conventions,
hanging.
if you want good conventions at Delta H Con, apply for them.
Or
Good
apply to
convention.
if you don't like the panels or what's going on at conventions, if you're tired of the same shit over and over again, apply a panel for yourself.
Yeah, not just that. If their panels seem to be too repetitive, they're not the same. Always make sure to let the people at the convention know that it's just starting to go stale.
Yeah,
Because then it helps them get a better selection in.
Yeah,
No,
like,
just
okay,
complain
Bleach
amongst
is no
yourselves.
longer in, guys. Now it's Tokyo Ghoul, or let's do something else. Or how about new animes that are coming up? I mean, just,
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but Bleach is getting a sequel.
again?
Oh God, help
continuation.
us.
Naruto is getting another anime, which is about Boruto.
Bolt. I thought it's Bolt.
The English translation came out to Boruto.
Okay.
Boruto, Buro. It's burrito.
Burrito.
Cholo.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
Okay, that's all.
So Naruto is continuing. Bleach they hinted that it will continue, and obviously Dragon Ball is still ongoing.
Yeah.
But if there's a new anime that you really want a panel for and it just came out, the reason that we might have an old anime panel on there is because we start planning panels a year in advance, sometimes 2 years. So we can't usually have up-to-date information and up-to-date panels just because a convention is a very hard process, usually run by like a handful of people year-round, and then you see the 100 volunteers and the staff lieutenants. But just because you think a convention that has tons of money and is organized by a corporation, no, that rarely ever happens.
Well,
Yeah.
there is
Conventions are literally run to the they're literally run to the penny. By the time that you're done, most of that money is to get the guests to come back.
Most small local conventions will run you about $100,000.
Yeah.
So do you have $100,000 you can put to a pet project? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, people have to realize that, even when it comes to being a panelist, most of these people, I don't think they get paid, unless they're huge celebrities. But most of the time, we dedicate our time and effort in order to provide panels, for you or for the fans, and that also, I'm just stating, like, sometimes there might be problems when it comes to getting panelists or the same type of genres over and over again. But you also realize that a lot of panelists, they do this because they love to. They like talking to you, and they definitely put the effort into it.
Uh,
We don't usually get much out of it because, like, the most that we get out of it is just like a free badge. And but we still have to travel. We have to pay for travel. We have to pay for gas. We have to get everything prepared, and also to make sure that we have pictures and are able to project images and to talk to people, and also get the hotel and everything if we need to.
the hell is that? Anyways, Mr. Oliver, sir, I know as a huge Star Wars fan, you'll be happy to know that starting next year, we will be submitting Star Wars versus Star Trek as a panel at Delta
Okay,
HCon. So
that's kind of an old classic.
yeah,
You
but it's never been submitted as a trash talking panel.
know. Okay.
Yeah, but it's going to be wonderful when you have the Klingons fighting the Empire, because at least at the very bright side, we're going to see all of them stop missing each other.
He's like, who are you for, sir? I hate the Klingons and I hate the Jedi, but with this panel, at least they'll be killing each other. Anyways,
What happens? What happens if we put the red shirts in with stormtroopers firing at them?
nobody got hit. Anyways, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. The links to Tenzarumon's page and of course Sakiri, as always, her Facebook page will be linked below. Matrix, we do have a website now. It's still under construction, but it is geeks5ever.com. Also, any information you want to look up for Delta HCon is at deltahcon.com. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. Also, check out our SoundCloud, our Instagram, our Facebook, and our other stuff. We don't have a Tumblr. Don't look for us on Tumblr. Just hit the like button if you have any suggestions for a podcast in the future. So obviously Sock Kitty's gonna probably be with us for a long, long time.
I'll be here forever.
Yes. Tenzaramon, thank you for being on the podcast.
Very happy to be here.
Mr. Oliver, always it's a pleasure to have you here representing Delta HCon. As their unofficial public relations, I do take pride in promoting Delta HCon. As always, folks, like I said, check out our other videos, check out our other podcasts. We have other podcasts coming soon. We have one with Chris Bonnet, the San Japan Old Spice guy, cosplayer. We're going to talk about the controversy that happened at San Japan with him. We did get a statement from San Japan, so we will be releasing that. I think they already released that statement, but they also did send it to us. So Geeks 5 Ever did get the statement before they made it public. So yay, we're getting some kind of edge. Like I said, check out all of our social medias. All the links will be posted below. Check out Tenzaru's YouTube channel, website, and Facebook page. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Like I said, I'm always promoting subscribe to our channel. And thank you for helping us grow as a channel. We have, we thought it would take us a whole year to reach 100 subscribers. Now our goal is to reach 150 before the year ends. So that is definitely something to look forward to. We'll be at OniCon, so you can check us out at OniCon on October, Halloween weekend. And this, as always, I am Animan Rated, and stay classy.
I'll try to start again and pick myself back up. I gave